Often described as Scotland's most architecturally beautiful railway station, Wemyss Bay was and still is linked in many people's minds with ferry sailings across the Firth of Clyde to the beautiful Isle of Bute. Holidays, fresh air, fun and relaxation. And these happy memories of holidays on the Isle of Bute, or in and around Wemyss Bay itself, were made possible by the coming of the railway, which began when the Greenock and Wemyss Bay Railway Company began building a 10-mile branch line from Port Glasgow in 1862. This is the story of Wemyss Bay Railway Station. Before we buy our ticket to Wemyss Bay, please make sure to like and share this video and subscribe to the Scotland channel. Check out all our other films. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to be notified of more releases from the Scotland channel. And stick with us until the end to discover what the Gaelic word for Wemyss Bay means and why it could result in disappointment for speleologists. Wemyss Bay became the first combined rail and ferry terminal on the Clyde Coast. The line between Port Glasgow and Wemyss Bay opened in 1865, with trains operated by the Caledonian Railway Company. A return first-class ticket to Wemyss Bay was 3 shillings and 6p, which was almost 2 days' pay for an unskilled labourer at the time. A first-class return ticket on a steamer to Rothesay with a cabin was 3 shillings and 9p. Holidaymakers flocked to the area to take in the stunning coastal views and turn this into a popular holiday destination, which it still is today, thanks largely to the large holiday park situated across the road from the station and the regular ferry sailings to the Isle of Bute. This elongated village, which is sandwiched between the Kelly Hills, which are part of the Renfrewshire Heights and the Firth of Clyde, seamlessly borders the equally elongated village of Skelmorley in North Ayrshire. The station was originally built with just one platform, but by 1872, increased passenger traffic meant a second platform was added to cope with demand. Prior to the arrival of the railway, Wemyss Bay had been little more than a handful of houses, but with the arrival of the railway, wealthy merchants and industrialists from Glasgow began to build their holiday homes along the Clyde Coast to escape the grime and congestion of the city. By 1890, trains from Wemyss Bay started running to Glasgow Central Station, having previously terminated at Bridge Street on the south side of the Clyde. In 1893, the Caledonian Railway took ownership of the Wemyss Bay line, and the company soon drew up plans for improvements as the original station and pier had become inadequate for the number of passengers now using them. The pier extension was completed by 1901, and by 1903, the construction of the present station was completed, which involved the building of a new seawall and land reclamation to provide sufficient space. The architect of the present station was James Miller, who had designed several railway stations in Scotland, including the rebuilding and extension of Glasgow Central Station, along with engineer Donald Matheson. Miller, the Caledonian Railway Company's own architect, had created a masterpiece. The glass-roofed complex, with its Queen Anne-styled half-timbered frontage finished with rough-cast and red sandstone and dominated by a 4-sided 60-foot-high clock tower, so captured the minds of a party of Japanese government officials visiting Lord Inverclyde at nearby Castle Wemyss at the time that they requested copies of its plans in order that they could build an exact copy when they returned to Japan. Central to the design of Wemyss Bay Station was the rapid interchange of passengers between trains and steamers, with plenty of space for large crowds and shelter from adverse weather conditions. Indeed, the curves in the layout of the concourse and the seamless walkway to the pier was designed to ease the flow of people, whilst a timber platform on the opposite side of the track on Platform 1 was used by porters to unload passenger luggage and take it directly to the pier without impeding passengers. The walkway down to the pier was built wide enough to accommodate separate queues for different destinations. In 1923, the Caledonian Railway was merged into the London, Midland and Scottish Railway as part of a reorganisation which saw most railway companies merged into the Big Four: LMS, LNER, GWR and Southern Railway. Large crowds of holidaymakers continued to flock to the Clyde Coast throughout the 1930s. But following World War II and petrol rationing, most people took their holidays closer to home, which for many meant Wemyss Bay, and the paddle steamer to Rothesay, Millport, or Arran. In 1948, both the railway and paddle steamer services were nationalised into British Railways. By the 1950s and 60s, the number of passengers on the steamers dwindled due largely to air travel becoming more affordable and people choosing to holiday in places where the sunshine was more or less guaranteed all year round. By the 1960s, many fine old stations were being demolished all over Britain because they were deemed to be too large and uneconomic as rail passenger numbers fell and the use of cars increased. Thankfully, this historic and beautiful station survived this period of uncertainty and gained Category A listed building status. Electric trains started running along the line in 1967, and the line was singled with a passing loop at Dunrod, north of Inverkip. The 1970s brought more change to Wemyss Bay. Caledonian MacBrayne took over the ferry services in 1973, and a link span was built in 1977 to allow vehicles to drive on and off the ferry. The clock tower, which had been previously shortened, was further shortened in 1988 as part of a restoration project whilst the pier itself was rebuilt. 5 years later, the station itself was extensively renovated by ScotRail. In 2009, as part of ScotRail's Adopt a Station scheme, a support group made up of volunteers to help with reinstating floral displays at the station was formed. The Friends of Wemyss Bay Station, who also operate a second-hand bookshop on the station concourse, have been involved in a number of projects since then, including the installation in 2017 of a bronze statue of a young boy with his model yacht and fishing line to symbolise the many thousands of people who have passed through the station for their annual holidays. Created by sculptor Angela Hunter, the statue was named Bobby after an online competition, and hardly a day goes by without visitors posing by him for a photograph. The Friends also secured the purchase of an original Caledonian railway bench, which had been in store at the National Railway Museum in York. It was installed on the concourse in 2016. The Friends also raised funds for the repair of the station clock with the Railway Heritage Trust. The clock's mechanical works were replaced by an electronic device, which receives the time signal by radio transmitter. The internal lighting of the dials were replaced with LEDs to reduce electricity consumption and reduce the frequency at which anyone needs to go up to the top of the tower. In 2018, the group installed a timeline showing the history of Wemyss Bay Station on the station concourse. The content for the timeline was compiled by Nancy Cameron and Greg Beecroft, and the display was professionally designed by Ian McGregor of local firm Bootlace Creative. With the help of the Friends, the station received wider recognition in 2017, being described by journalist and former London Evening Standard editor Sir Simon Jenkins as Britain's loveliest railway station, a description which is well deserved. Incidentally, the name Wemyss is derived from the Scottish Gaelic word for cave, and although the Gaelic caption on the station platform translates as Bay of Caves, there is no obvious connection here to caves, so visitors going in search of them may well be a little confused. However, nobody coming to this beautiful part of Scotland will ever be disappointed, especially if they arrive by train or visit the station and take in the magnificent views across the Firth of Clyde. We hope you've enjoyed this visit to Wemyss Bay. Check out more great content on the Scotland Channel by visiting our YouTube page at the Scotland Channel or our website thescotlandchannel.tv. Thanks for watching.